In Pit Lane, brought to you by Online Invent, and with thanks to our Platinum Star Patreon supporters. Yes, hello everybody and welcome once again. The winter hibernation is over. It's the return of In Pit Lane. Tonight's sort of free practice one. This is sort of the show we do before we do the show. In Pit Lane coming to you now exclusively live every single week on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. We decided to move away from Facebook. Not the best sort of video platform out there. So we've decided to move the program to every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, and we would really love you to like and subscribe. That would certainly help us out a great deal. Now also next week we will be going back onto Channel 31. That's Wednesday night, the new time of Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock. But this week, joining me alongside is not Doc this week. Doc is missing in action. He's still getting over the shock of Carlton making the actual finals this year. But alongside me is our guest tonight. His name is, well, he's second generation racer. His name is Cadel Ambrose, not that one. Cadel, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Do you? I imagine you get a bit of that, like, oh, Cadel Ambrose is. But your dad, of course, was a racer. Tell us about that quickly.
Yeah, he raced in IP for probably at least 5 years in an RX-7 and everything.
One of the top drivers, and was of course featured on the show many years ago in the red and silver RX-7. Rohan Ambrose, of course. So we'll catch up with you later because you've been, Cadel has been in action over the weekend at Sandown at the Toyota 86 series. Also, music, a very important part of In Pit Lane. Joining us tonight for something different, we'll have Sage Marie. She's going to join us, and an interesting choice of instrument for a young performer. You'll be seeing that in just a moment. But for right now, it has been a huge weekend of news. Had to cut a lot of it out. This is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. Well, in last minute supercar news, of course, they break after we sort of finished writing the news. All hell breaks loose. Anton De Pasquale is going to be moving from Dick Johnson Racing to Team 18, where he's going to replace Mark Winterbottom, who at this stage has an uncertain future. The move by De Pasquale now opens up a possible spot alongside Will Davison for Brodie Kostecki at DJR once his Erebus contract expires at the end of this year. So stay tuned, more news for that hopefully next week on the program. Well, it was a big weekend for third-generation racer Max Geoghan at Sandown. The grandson of legendary touring car racer Ian Pete Geoghan wrapped up the Toyota Gazoo Racing Scholarship Series and was also announced as the latest signing to the Erebus Academy. Managed to catch up with Max earlier in the weekend at Sandown and asked him just what the signing meant.
Yeah, well, Erebus obviously has had great support with all their junior drivers through the academy, and they've had such great success ever since they've stepped in the game with Barry and Betty. They've been able to create a forefront, be that sort of little team that's now become even bigger and bigger, and obviously it's no hint to anyone of their success last year. So to be able to have that support network as well as to be able to just talk to Barry and have that sort of inlet into that supercars paddock is going to be very beneficial. I really look forward to it.
So is that the pathway you're looking to get into supercars, or are you perhaps looking at other options?
Yeah, there's always everyone obviously wants to get into supercars. It's the pinnacle of Australian motorsport. So that's where we're trying to work towards and try and figure something out. And I believe Erebus with the academy is the best place to be for that. The 86s are good. They're not ridiculously high power. We've only got 200 odd horsepower. So it's actually training yourself how to get the car off the corner the best way possible to then make sure you're maximising the car, not just using all the power to try and pull away. Sort of whatever you want to do, whatever pathway you want to do. You look at Brock Feeney, he went from 86s into what was touring cars, which is now properly Super 3 as it's more recognised as, and Super 2. And you have to look at his career, but you look at Cam Hill as well. He went through into Porsches and then stepped aside and came back into supercars to then take that route. So I think you can sort of make it whichever way you want to be. You just need to be in the right seat, the right time, have the right support network.
We're getting to the end of the year already. I mean, time is flying, as they say. What about your plans for next year? Have you got things sorted out as yet?
Yeah, definitely just eyes forward. Mainly focusing on what we got to go for this year. We still got a long way to go. We've got the last round this weekend for scholarship. Hopefully can got the eyes on the prize. Hopefully can seal the deal this weekend with the championship. We still got 3 rounds for the GR Cup to go. So that's obviously going to have a big influence on what I do next year. So focus on the now and then use that to focus on next year.
What about the carrying the weight of such a famous name in Australian motorsport? I mean, does that enter your head at all?
I try and keep it out. It's obviously been a great thing that's helped me early on in my career and have a lot of pathways and connections. And only last week I was at the Legends Lunch with a whole bunch of people who worked with my granddad, who I've heard the names of, I just haven't been able to meet, like people like John Shepherd. Been able to sit down and chat with him and just hear a bit about what it was back in the 60s and 70s, back in the good old days, as they probably like to call it. Yeah, it's been a great thing that's helped me out along the way.
Well, the Toyotas weren't the only national series running at the State Series at Sandown last weekend, with Formula Ford and the sports sedans also joining the party. In Formula Ford, it was a dominant performance for Harrison Sellers, who won all 3 races for the weekend. In the big sports sedan, Steve Tomasi won the first 2 races of the weekend in his big Chev-powered Calibra. But a 6th place in the 3rd race saw the overall win go to New South Wales driver Peter Ingram in his wicked-looking and very, very fast Mazda RX-7. Be watching In Pit Lane next week as Peter Ingram talks about the car that aims to change the traditional Chev V8 domination of sports sedan racing. Well, further down the South Gippsland Highway, SRO Australia and their first standalone meeting, the Phillip Island GT Festival. With only 3 categories on the card, the decision was made to throw open the gates and offer free admission. Turned out to be an inspired move, as big crowds made a day of it, lining the track to watch some close racing from some of the world's fastest and most desirable GT cars. It was a dominant weekend for the Ferraris in the GT World Challenge Australia races, with the team of Chaz Mostert and Liam Talbot winning the weekend outright, as they shared race wins with the Rise Racing teammates Jackson Evans and Elliot Shute. Evans and Shute won Sunday's race 2 by less than 0.03 of a second, but a 9th place in race 1 cost them the outright points. Consistency saw the team BRM Audi of Alex Peroni and Mark Rosser finish 3rd overall. There was some great racing in GT4 as that class continues to grow. The weekend saw an overall win to the BMW team of Tim Leahy and Cody Bersher, who won both races on the weekend. It was a good weekend for Method Motorsport, with Lachlan Manif and Shane Smolin taking out the Pro-Am category in their Porsche Cayman, while Mark Griffith won the AM class in the AMG Mercedes. And we'll have more news later in the show as we check out Formula One and Indy cars. But when we return, we'll be joined by our guest, alongside me, Cadel Ambrose. And we have some great live music coming up from Sage Marie. You're watching In Pit Lane, live on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, of course, thank you to Online Invent. If you're looking to take your online presence to the next level, then let me tell you about Online Invent. Online Invent have been in business since 2007, and in that time they've been the go-to team for a wide variety of businesses and personal clients wanting to make their mark online. From custom business websites and online stores to e-commerce solutions, Online Invent has you covered. They specialise in search engine optimisation to help you generate more leads, and their social media and digital marketing services can elevate your particular brand or product. But that's not all. Do you need custom online software? Well, they excel at building tailored systems for sales reps, point of sale systems, inventory management, even automated billing solutions. And let's not forget about their graphic design services, perfect for websites, business cards and other promotional materials. So whether you're just starting out or you have an established business, Online Invent can help you with all your web design and development needs. They're here to help you succeed online, so why not reach out to Roy Eller and his team at Online Invent and see how they can assist you today. And once again, a huge thank you to Online Invent for supporting In Pit Lane, RMITV Student Television and local motorsport. That's onlineinvent.com.au. Well, of course, music has always been a big part of the program, and I'm glad to say that isn't changing for this particular season as well, because joining us tonight is Sage Marie. You can find her on all of the socials. She's a Sage Marie official on Instagram, Sage Marie on Facebook, also on TikTok. On TikTok as the real Sage Marie, as distinct from those fake Sage Maries who are running around all over the place and should be dealt with. She's got an upcoming gig. It's happening at the ESPY in St Kilda on the 15th of September from 1 to 4 p.m. And she has a new single, Moving On, which will be released on all of the streaming platforms on Wednesday the 28th of August, which I think is actually tomorrow. So you don't have to wait that long, however. If you'd like to hear it, you can hear it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us tonight, live in the In Pit Lane studio, this is Sage Marie and Moving On.
You've got nerve, I'll give it to you. Thinking you can come around, stuck in my profiles and commenting as you do. Thinking it will leave me blue, when all you're doing is digging yourself a hole and burying yourself alive. You like starting drama, I know you do. You've said it so many times. Maybe it's time for you to give in, 'cause you'll never get me back alive. 'Cause I'm moving on from my friendship. I'll never need you like you needed me. I'm happy now doing what I love, and you're still stuck in the past. Some people like that they'd seen you happy without you in their lives. And I'll keep on doing what I'm doing, and you'll keep on being yourself. You've said a lot of things behind my back, and even to my face. I think they were threats, but I'm not sure, 'cause they didn't really make any sense. Then again, they could be compliments. Maybe you could clarify them, 'cause I'm moving on from our friendship. I'll never need you like you needed me. I'm happy now doing what I love, and you're still stuck in the past. Some people like that they'd seen you happy without you in their lives. And I'll keep on doing what I'm doing, and you'll keep on being yourself. 'Cause I'm moving on from our friendship. I'll never need you like you needed me. I'm happy now doing what I love, and you're still stuck in the past. Some people like that they'd seen you happy without you in their lives. And I'll keep on doing what
Sage Marie, and moving on, and there's not too many people of her age who pick up and play the ukulele. Sage, what possessed you to take up ukulele?
During the COVID lockdown, I was going insane, and I won a singing competition online, which I ended up getting a $50 voucher from. And I went to JB Hi-Fi and I bought myself a ukulele, and that's what started it all.
Well, there you go. It was a great investment. Sage is going to join us a little bit later to play us out on the program, but for now, Sage Marie, thanks for joining us. Now we're going to just reset things here, and we're going to catch up with our guest tonight. Here's Cadel Ambrose. Okay, well, joining us tonight is Cadel Ambrose, and he was in action over the weekend at Sandown as part of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, as part of the Toyota 86, or Toyota Gazoo Racing 86 Scholarship Series. We heard from Max Geoghan before, who picked up the series on the weekend. But Cadel is a defending champion in Excels here in Victoria, has a long experience in kart racing, and as well as that, of course, is a second-generation racer as the son of Rohan Ambrose, who dominated improved production racing for so many years here in Victoria. Cadel, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you for having me on.
Now let's talk about let's talk about the weekend first and foremost. Tell us how you think you went.
Pace, it could have been better, but pace-wise, we had good pace all weekend. Qualified 5th, race 1, I think I was 8th. And then race 3 is where it all went backwards a bit after I was involved in an incident on lap 1, which unfortunately that brought us out of the race, but yeah.
So tell us about how you got into the Toyota scholarship. I mean, tell us what it is first of all. I mean, we know the Toyota 86 series. The scholarship is something a little bit different. Tell us how you got involved in that.
So there's 2 series of them. There's the main one, and the scholarship series is using the old cars from the last year and all the previous years since they've been racing them. And yeah, it's basically the stepping stone to the main series, and where you can learn how to drive them a bit more and just learn the racing a bit, and before you go and step up into the main thing.
Now, it's not your first time in the larger cars, but like so many people, like most kids nowadays, I mean, you got your start in karting, I believe. Tell us about your karting career.
Yeah, so my dad bought me a go-kart when I think I was 5 or 6. And
What a nice dad he is.
Yeah. And I was racing at Stony Creek, which is just a track outside. It's not really associated with anything until I was about 7 or 8, and I stepped up into the main thing. Raced go-karts then until I was 14, and after that we bought an XL. Did that for 2 years, and then ended up after that in the Toyota.
So what did you learn from the XL? I mean, so many young people are sort of moving. The XLs were sort of, a bit like sort of HQ Holdens for a new generation, but they were sort of an affordable way to go racing for perhaps some, more amateur drivers. And then suddenly they've become this thing that so many successful young drivers are getting behind, and there's some serious money being spent on these things now, isn't there?
Yeah, there's some people are selling cars now for 50 grand, which is up there for an XL, which
crazy,
is
isn't it?
Like 10 grand new, but yeah.
Yeah. So for somebody like you, I mean, how do people spend $50,000 on an XL? I
don't know really. I don't think it's probably a bit steep for one really, but if you're looking for a car that's ready to go, all set up, and you got the money, then I suppose why not? But yeah.
So what about as you say, the Toyotas? Their last year's car. Where did your car come from? How did you end up with that?
Originally, we just bought a car that was kind of wasn't really up the front off of just one of my friends, and yeah, we spent a bit of time on that, getting it better, doing some test days, tuning in the setup a little bit, and yeah, that's what I used that car for 2 years. Won the state championship in that, and then over the last kind of year and a half, we've been building a new one, which I raced at Bathurst at the start of this year.
Mm. So with the Toyota 86 Scholarship Series, how many rounds have you done so far? It was what, a 5-round series?
Yes, it was a 5-round series, and I did 4. We skipped Queensland just because it was a long way away, and we didn't really have the money to get there. But yeah, I've done 5. I think I ended up 11th overall in in the championship.
So apart from Sandown, what tracks were you at?
It started at Sydney, then it went to Tailem Bend, Phillip Island, Queensland, which I didn't do, and then Sandown was the final one.
So how did you find Tailem Bend? Obviously a brand new circuit for pretty much everybody. I mean, they're all brand new circuits to you, but I mean, it's very much a state-of-the-art track. How did you find it?
Yeah, it's a great place, the track. It's a surprisingly technical track, even though it's pretty flat. It's a long track. It's a very, very long track. Yeah, there's a lot of hard corners. There's a lot of good passing opportunities in it, and yeah.
What's the secret to getting speed out of a Toyota 86?
You just got to be smooth, and learning the brakes is because they have ABS, and it's a bit different to any normal ABS.
That explains, because I was down filming. The shots that we saw earlier, I was down filming on Friday down at down at Turn 1, and yeah, they were going. Some of the people were going very, very late, and I thought, wow, they're going in late. So they do have ABS.
Yeah, they have ABS, which is it's good and bad. Sometimes it's very easy for it to come up with a fault on the dash. Then it's like 95% brake to the front. You have no brakes at all, which isn't ideal, but
to say the least.
Yeah, but yeah, it does help. It sort of takes the you can't lock. Obviously, it's ABS, so you can't lock up.
So with the ABS system and all that, and the fact that you're running ABS, I mean, we, as I said over the weekend at Phillip Island, we saw the GTs in action. For something like moving into GT4 or GT3, it would seem to be the ideal pathway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they have power steering, which is the same as GT3's ABS. They are H pattern, obviously, so that's a bit different to paddle shift, but yeah, they are in some ways a similar car.
So what about your plans now that the series is over? What are your plans for next year?
I'm not really sure yet. GR Cup, which is an option, which is the up step of the scholarship series. Then there is also RX8 Cup or Formula RX8 and some other series like that as well, which are also options, as long as also XLs.
Okay. Well, good luck with all of that. I mean, what are your long-term plans? I mean, is it supercars or would you look at something like GT3, GT4?
Yeah, well, ideally supercars would be good, but that's obviously the budget is insane for something like that. So anything really, any professional motorsport, anything sort of, maybe GT or co-driver for a GT team or anything like that, really.
Of course, just quickly, I mean, your dad was sort of a Rotary specialist. He still has his old improved production car, I believe. Any chance of jumping back behind the wheel of that?
Yes, it's actually at our factory. It's all in bits there, but going to stick that back together one day, and I'll definitely race that at some point.
Hey, look, good luck with all of that. Thank you for coming in tonight and joining us on the program. Stay with us now, but we're going to take a break here on In Pit Lane. When we come back, we've got more news and more music from our guest, Sage Marie. You're watching In Pit Lane. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Get the phone ringing for your business with website development and SEO services from Online Invent. Visit onlineinvent.com.au.
Yes, a huge thank you once again to Online Invent, and also a massive thank you to our incredible Patreon supporters who are keeping In Pit Lane on the air. Your generosity helps us to bring out the best motorsport coverage and local music every week with all the vibrant local music representatives that we have, all sorts of genres, as you see tonight. Now, if you're not a supporter yet, we'd really appreciate it if you'd sort of help us out. Now's the perfect time to join, because for as little as $1 a week, a measly $1 single dollar, you can help us to continue to deliver the show that you know and love over all of these 28 years. And if you're a business or a car club or a track promoter or something, how about considering our Platinum $25 a month tier, and you can get your name and your business logo featured on our opening billboard every week, both online here on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel, as well as free to air right across Melbourne on C31. So do us a favour, we'd really appreciate your support. Head over to patreon.com, The Pit Crew, and join the In Pit Lane team. Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, further news from the world of supercars as Grove Racing announced that Troy Bundy, yay Bundy, has been appointed as their new Chief Executive Officer. Bundy comes to Grove Racing with more than 25 years of commercial experience in sports management, including stints involving the NRL and AFL. His most recent role was as the head of one make and GT racing for Porsche in North America. The move allows current CEO Brenton Grove to move to the position of Executive Director of Grove Racing and also frees up more time to concentrate on his main role as CEO of the entire Grove business empire. In Formula One, New Zealand driver Liam Lawson might find himself back in Formula One faster than expected, with rumours that he may replace Logan Sargent at Williams as soon as this weekend at Monza. However, there seems to be a last-minute fly in the ointment there. After Sargent suffered a big crash at Zandvoort, there's stories that at this stage, Williams are not happy with the deal that they've been offered by Red Bull, particularly the possibility that Liam Lawson could be dragged away from them at any stage should he be required by Red Bull. So last weekend of the Zandvoort Dutch Grand Prix saw another win to the McLaren of Lando Norris, leaving the team with at least the thin hope of him chasing down series leader Max Verstappen. Now, Norris himself is far less convinced, saying that at this stage, such talk was stupid. Meanwhile, it was a big weekend of racing in the USA with NASCAR at Daytona and the Indy cars at Portland. Australia's Will Power is back in contention for this year's IndyCar Series after a dominant race last weekend at Portland. Power started second on the grid but raced past pole sitter Santino Ferrucci to take the lead. It was a short race for Kiwi Scott Dixon, who was out of the race early after contact with Pietro Fittipaldi. Alex Palou moved into second, passing Ferrucci, while Fittipaldi had more drama, this time with Connor Daly. Romain Grosjean had a race to forget as he turned into a pinball after contact with Colton Herta and then Christian Rasmussen. No one could catch Power though, who won from Palou and Joseph Newgarden, ahead of Bush on the back straight to take the win. The race was action-packed from start to finish with 16 different leaders and 40 lead changes. Only 5 cars crossed the finish line without being involved in some sort of accident. A 14-car crash on lap 61 took out several front-runners, including pole sitter Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Justin Haley and championship points leader Tyler Reddick. Shane Van Gisbergen ran up in the top 10, but his race ended in a cloud of smoke when his engine failed on lap 86. The race's final drama unfolded with just 2 laps remaining, when an accident forced the overtime period. Austin Cedric's car made contact with Josh Berry, sending Berry's car airborne in a spectacular crash. Fortunately, Berry emerged unscathed. And that was the In Pit Lane news for this week. We'll, of course, have more news next week. Now, before we head out tonight, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tonight. It's been quite chaotic tonight. We've first show back after a long break. We've some of our regular crew. I mean, we've got RMITV has productions happening everywhere at the moment, and we're sort of a bit thin on the ground, but we've got a lot of new people joining us tonight and people in roles that they normally don't fill. So once again, thank you, everybody, for getting everything together. We really do appreciate it. Now, as I said, next week we will be back on Channel 31 at the new time of Wednesday night at 9 o'clock for the edited version of In Pit Lane. That's sort of the safe for kiddies version, the family-friendly version of In Pit Lane, not the shit you're seeing now, which is much more fun. Now, but if you want to see that, if you want to see all the stuff with all of the real stuff, then be watching on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel every week, 9 o'clock Melbourne time, and you can watch In Pit Lane live. But right now, to play us out tonight, we saw her a little bit earlier. Sage Marie is going to join us again. Remember, she's at the ESPY on the 15th of September from 1 till 4 p.m. She's also got her new single, which you heard before, coming out tomorrow. But right now, she's going to play us out with, well, something that people have been telling me now for probably 50 odd years or more. Grow up. This is Sage Marie and Grow Up.
After putting up with you for so many years, I'm sick of being treated like this, making fun of the way I sing. Well, at least I'm better than you. I'm not gonna let you bring me down. I'm holding on to my crown. Maybe it's time for you to grow up. Stop acting sick of holding open my doors, letting you strut back in and ruin everything again. I'm not gonna let you bring me down. I'm holding on to my crown. Maybe it's time for you to grow up. Stop acting like such a damn child, crying all your crocodile tears. I just think it's quite pathetic. Put our friendship on the line. I've given you so many tries. I've finally had enough. I'm putting my foot down. I'm not gonna let you bring me down. I'm holding on to my crown. Maybe it's time for you to grow up. Stop acting like such a damn child, crying all your crocodile tears. I just think it's quite pathetic.